This story is about a gym hippie who's recently felt very stressed. She's been stressed because, in addition to having professional exams, she was also asked to deliver a presentation at work to a large number of people at very short notice. As anyone who doesn't like public speaking will understand, this on its own is reason enough to feel stressed. Presentation plus study is a double whammy of overwhelm. Now, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about how to keep our fat loss nutrition and mindset goal supportive during stressful times like these. The first thing we always do is to normalise and better understand the emotions involved. In this case, we all know what stress is. We've all been stressed. It's totally normal to feel overwhelmed or excessively under pressure at times. It's certainly true that some people are more susceptible to stress than others, but that's cool. I'm certainly one of those people. The key here is to know yourself, understand what emotions you're particularly vulnerable to, and then build a plan to accommodate those emotions when they flare up. Now, with this individual, we have long known that stress can be an obstacle. We also know that when she gets stressed, it often triggers a desire to eat sweet food. Now, when emotions trigger a desire to eat, this is a behavior known as emotional eating. Most people emotionally eat for one reason or another. It's typically the emotional brain trying to self-soothe and improve our well-being via food. And in the vast majority of cases, it's an emotional reaction that is not very helpful for our fat loss goals. Once we understand our emotional triggers, we can then begin to implement strategies to help us accommodate them. A few hacks that we've been trying recently are as follows. Number one, on stressful days, her calorie budget instantly increases from 1,500 calories to 2,000 calories, i.e. from a calorie deficit up to maintenance. This instantly reduces the likelihood of her eating over budget. Now, this is important because eating over budget might then trigger further emotions and further emotional eating, making the problem much worse. In addition, since it's overall weekly calorie intake that is king, we can easily accommodate a few days of maintenance calories into our weekly plan and still achieve a calorie deficit by the end of the week. If possible, I still think it's important to track our calories when we're feeling emotional, as this will allow us to reflect and learn lessons later on. That said, if calorie tracking doesn't happen, then it does not matter. We draw a line and we just move on. Number two, on stressful days, we make greater allowances for junk food. Now, typically, we would strive to spend about 80% of our calories on healthy foods, allowing up to 20% on junk. On stressful days, however, this goes out the window, and we are totally cool with that. Again, this is a tactic to prevent us feeling like we're not sticking to the plan, which might trigger further negative emotions and further non-goal supportive behavior, which, as I said earlier, would make the situation much worse. Number three, we've started to introduce smart swaps. Now, smart swaps are where we swap high-calorie foods, typically those high in sugar or high in dietary fat, for more goal-supportive alternatives. Naturally, the challenge here is finding fat loss-friendly alternatives that taste okay, but we've actually done quite well. A classic example is swapping out regular chocolate bars for protein bars. And yes, I know the calorie cost is often very similar, but not only do protein bars contain more protein, which helps towards our daily protein target, but psychologically, choosing a protein bar over a regular chocolate bar can be a massive win, as we feel like we're still being goal supportive with our food choices. Number four, and finally, watermelon. We grab a watermelon from the supermarket, we cut it into slices, we keep it in the fridge during times when we feel like we're susceptible to stress. When the cravings hit, it's there, it's convenient, it can help us satisfy those cravings. Of course, you can do this with any melon, and grapes work well too. This one's particularly useful for those people that like to graze and pick at food throughout the day. Guys, I hope this has given you a few ideas on how you can tackle emotional eating. If you're still struggling, drop me a DM and let's brainstorm. Until next time, stay awesome and keep going.